Let's be real, no summer party is complete without a refreshing frozen margarita in hand. Whether you're hosting a barbecue or lounging by the pool, a margarita machine can take your drink game to the next level. Gone are the days of struggling with ice chunks and watery cocktails from regular blenders. Now, it's all about that perfect slushy consistency with just the right flavor punch. How do you choose the best one? Everything you need to know before making a purchase. Let's get started in this video. Top 6 Best Margarita Machines Review.
Number 1.
Margaritaville's Tahiti model works similarly to the Key West one above, with a large ice reservoir that empties into a blender pitcher. But this version features 3 separate pitchers and a rotating ice chute that allows you to blend up a trio of different drinks all at once. Try 3 margaritas as classic, tamarind, and apple, say, or an entirely varied menu of frozen drinks of all kinds. It's kind of the ultimate frozen drink party tool. This thing blends drinks extremely fast, taking less than 10 seconds to thoroughly emulsify each 24-ounce pitcher. And each pitcher has its own controls, with 6 different settings for drinks of different textures, from mojito to smoothie. However, we found it tough to get the exact right amount of ice into the pitcher. The chute pours it out pretty fast, and our test batches came out a little watered down. Another issue we found is that the Tahiti is quite loud, especially when all 3 blenders are running together. As a fairly expensive machine, the Margaritaville Tahiti is only a good choice for a frequent frozen drink maker. You don't need to pay this much for something you'll only haul out of the closet once a year. But if you spring for it, you're getting a quality appliance that will keep you in slushy beverages for years to come. What we like. 3 separate blender containers. 6 automated settings. Fast blending. What we don't like. Loud. Hard to measure the right amount of ice.
Number 2.
The margarita has really turned into an entire business empire for Jimmy Buffett. The singer has parlayed his 1977 hit Margaritaville Key West frozen concoction maker into a worldwide group of restaurants, vacation resorts, a cruise ship, and, of course, several models of blender for making that frozen concoction that helps me hang on at home. But does songwriting skill translate to cocktail making skill? To be totally honest, we didn't have high hopes for this pricey, kitschy-looking machine, but in testing, it blew us away with both its design and performance. The Key West is essentially a snow cone maker attached to a blender, with a large ice hopper and shaving blade mounted above the blending pitcher. You add liquid ingredients to the pitcher, and then the machine dispenses the exact right amount of ice for 1, 2, or 3 drinks. With the ability to shave and blend individually or do both at once, you can also achieve textures anywhere from spoonable slush to ice cold, not quite liquid you can suck up with a straw. It took the Key West just 20 seconds to blend a test batch of 3 margaritas, and the drinks had even, consistent, delicious texture. A reservoir attached to the ice hopper drains off meltage, which prevents watery drinks in your second and third batches. A full hopper can make a little short of 3 pitcherfuls or roughly 8 drinks. In our daiquiri test, the machine performed just the same, with the shaving blade helping to break up any large ice bits that otherwise would wind up unblended. The pitcher's lid and lip make for effective, accurate, and drip-free pouring to boot. When it's time for cleanup, all the removable parts of the Key West are dishwasher safe, a real rarity among margarita machines. However, it's a bit of a pain to remove and disassemble all the little bits that have to go in the dishwasher separately. The machine is also pretty bulky, with a footprint more similar to a stand mixer than a traditional upright blender. Combined with its fairly high price, that makes it a good choice for someone who's actually going to use it. What we like. Fast and powerful. Multiple texture settings. Dishwasher safe. What we don't like. Complicated to assemble/disassemble. Bulky.
Number 3.
If you want to make frozen margaritas on a picnic, in the backyard, or at the beach, this portable drink maker has you covered. It's cordless, about the size of a standard thermos bottle, and recharges with a USB cable, so it's very convenient. Assembling it is fairly easy, with the usual fiddliness as we figured out exactly how the pieces fit together. After the second time, we were pros. Ice goes into the top holder where it waits to be shaved, while margarita ingredients go in the bottom. The instructions said that it works best with half-moon-shaped ice, which we didn't have, but it worked fine with both standard cubes and bullet ice. There are convenient measures marked for 2, 4, 6, and 8 ounces in the bottom container, which makes it simple to get the right amount of tequila, mixers, and add-ins. First, it starts shaving the ice, and after a short time, the bottom blade starts mixing the drink ingredients into the shaved ice. The top shaver stops, reverses, and restarts occasionally to make sure ice is being shaved efficiently. It takes about a minute and a half to complete the shaving and blending process, and while it's working there's nothing left to do except have a glass ready, along with any garnishes that sound delicious. This makes about 1 margarita at a time, which makes sense considering its small size, so it's probably best for small gatherings. Yet, we charged it fully and then made 9 margaritas in a row. Afterward, the indicator showed that it was still fully charged and the top was just barely warm, so it wasn't overworked. The company says it can last for over 20 blending cycles on a single charge, and after our test, we fully believe that. Cleaning is easy, particularly when it's rinsed and washed right away, but it wasn't much worse when we let it sit overnight. The electronics can't be immersed in water, so some care needs to be taken with the bottom. While it's made for margaritas, this could also be used for any other frozen cocktails, and even for icy drinks for the kids. What we like. Cordless and rechargeable. Charge lasts long. Easy cleaning after letting it sit around.
Number 4.
Nostalgia Margarita and Slush machine. Larger and more powerful frozen drink maker has the basic shape and layout of a blender, but its spinning blending cage has greater style holes to shave the ice into snow rather than blades to smash it into pieces. The clever setup lets this fairly compact machine handle an impressive full gallon of beverage. Frozen margaritas are delicious beachside, poolside, or otherwise outdoors, where it's typically tough to bring a blender. That's not so with the Nostalgia. We were really impressed with just how many features this model has to make it more portable. There's a simple switch to lock the pitcher to the base, and it's double insulated to keep the drinks frozen longer. The pitcher's locking lid has a heavy-duty carrying handle so you can tote the whole thing around even while full, and its spigot dispenser helps prevent major spills. It did drip a bit in testing, however. There's even a little compartment where the power cord tucks away. For ultimate portability, try Nostalgia's Tailgater Edition, which adds a power inverter to plug into a 12-volt car outlet. In operation, this machine is strangely slow. The instructions call for 10 minutes of blending, which is way too much. In all that running time, the motor generated enough heat to melt most of the ice and we got cold and refreshing margaritas with a few floating bits of ice rather than anything slushy or smooth. For better results, you'll need to stop blending and manually stir up the mix every few seconds, just until you get the right texture. With some practice, this machine can deliver good performance, and for a small fraction of the price of many competitors. What we like. Large capacity. Inexpensive. Very portable. What we don't like. Can drip a bit. Inconsistent texture.
Number 5.
This Nostalgia machine doesn't have the power and capabilities of the others on this list, but it makes a pretty good frozen margarita for a much lower cost. It works much like a snow cone machine, shaving whole ice cubes from the top chamber into slush in the pitcher beneath. There's not an ice-crushing blender blade inside the pitcher, but it does have a low-power mixing paddle that helps incorporate liquid ingredients into the shaved ice. In testing, we got the best results with the ice hopper as full as possible, which meant we had to continually stop, remove the lid, and add fresh ice as we shaved a test batch. This really slowed things down, and it took over 4 minutes to fill the 40-ounce pitcher, during which a lot of the ice melted. The resulting texture was more like a liquid margarita on crushed ice than a truly slushy frozen drink, but it was still delicious. The Nostalgia has 2 different texture settings, which offer a little bit of customization, but you don't get anywhere near the adjustability of higher-end models. What it calls snow and slush modes yielded what we'd call coarse crushed ice and less crushed ice. Look, this is the absolute least expensive model we tested, and there's no way around that. But the fact that it didn't make the absolute worst drinks in the test says a lot. It's a barebones machine at a barebones cost. What we like: inexpensive, large capacity for its size, easy to use. What we don't like: slow, uneven texture. Number 6. Between the tendency of ice bits to fly everywhere and the sticky juices and syrups involved, making frozen drinks is a sloppy business. This is especially true after the first round. The Margaritaville Bahamas keeps all the ingredients under control, with an automatic ice shaving dispenser chute integrated into the lid of the blender pitcher, whose flip-up pour spout didn't miss a single drop. In a remarkably messy post-testing lab, this machine stood out as the one that really didn't spill at all. In addition to cleanliness, the Bahamas machine is all about ease. Its no-brainer mixer is pre-marked with measurements for margaritas, daiquiris, piña coladas, and other drinks, and it sits atop the pitcher to dispense ingredients directly. Then, the motor automatically senses how long to run. In testing, the small but mighty unit took only 35 seconds to completely pulverize a 36-ounce pitcherful. That's impressively fast, but only represents about 3 drinks. There are settings to use the ice shaver or blender separately, but we got the best results with the mode that runs both at once, a smooth icy mix that we'd maybe call more frozen daiquiri than frozen margarita, but it's a small distinction. Using only the blender, the ice mostly melted before fully crushing, yielding a frothy and watery drink. For more pinpoint texture control, you can flip the switch back and forth between shave and blend while you work, but honestly the extra effort's probably not worth it. What we like: automatic blending. No spills while blending or pouring. Measurements printed on jar. What we don't like: ice texture can be off slightly. Thanks for watching.